Welcome back to the next part of the modeling of our islands. We're going to apply another effect to this object. Go here to MoGraph Effector Random. These two effects, polygon reduction and random effector, will be used quite often in this lesson. So place the random effector inside the islands, and here in Deformer, we'll select to deform by points. So the random effector creates this kind of effect, meaning we don't have to go back and start sculpting our shape again. We can adjust this here. So we'll go for something like this. Now we're going to make the lake. We're going to create a bool within another bool. And this is very easy. Create a sphere which will act as a mask. Make it smaller and then make it editable. And we'll make the shape for our lake. Okay, let's apply the effect like before, then put this in here. You guys can do the lake however you want. You don't have to do it exactly the same way I do. Obviously follow the same steps, but maybe you want a different shaped lake, or you want it in a different position. You might even want to make two lakes. So now, as we did before, we'll go to this icon and select Bool. And now put these two inside this one, the original island and the sphere that asks a mask inside the new bool. Oh, this has happened because the island needs to be on top. Okay, so we have the hole. Let's hide new edges. Name this as lake and the islands. And this one island. We can make this bigger. We can even apply the same effect as before. So we can go to MoGraph Effector Random. Place this inside the lake. And Deformer, we'll deform by points. And we can adjust the strength of the effect to, let's say, 24. We can also adjust the composition and see all the different shaped lakes we can get. Okay, I'm going to remove this. I like how the lake is looking. Now we are going to add the water. To do this, we can go to the primitive objects and select plane. And we'll scale this plane to the size of the lake approximately. It doesn't have to be perfect, as later we can delete the points we don't want. We're going to apply an effect to make it look better. Go to Mesh, Commands, Triangulate. Good. And now we remove the access points. Select the points by holding down the caps lock to add to the selection. So here's our lake. Let's raise it a little bit. And let's apply the random effector. Okay, inside the plane. Deform by points and lower the strength of the effect to something like this. Also, remember to always do this. Go to the Font tab and set the smoothing angle to 0, so we get this effect where the polygon is sharper. Let's move on to the mountains. This is very simple. Go here to the primitive objects and select Landscape. Scale the mountain. Now I might take about 5 minutes to place my elements where I want them. You should do the same, Put your mountains wherever you like, scale them, adjust them if you want. Do it however you want to. So one mountain might go here. Again, select Polygon Reduction, place this inside, and set this to about 98. Remember the Font tag, lower the smoothing angle to 0. Now, you could also apply the random effector, but you can leave it if you like it as it is. You don't actually need to apply this because inside the options for the landscape, we can the generation, so we don't need to use the previous effects. So we'll copy this mountain and place another mountain around here. Maybe make it smaller. And now, here in Generation, we can choose a model that we like. I think this one is fine. I'm making 3 mountains, but you can make as many as you want. I can place this one here. Make the mountain in the middle bigger. Okay, great. So we have the mountain, the lake, and the island itself. Let's name everything, otherwise we're going to get confused. The water, Mountain 1 and Mountain 2. Now let's add some clouds using a sphere. Make it editable and scale it. It can be a very simple shape, as later with the random effector we can make it look more cloud-like. So polygon reduction. Place it inside the sphere, which we'll rename as cloud. Let's apply the random effector, deform by points. Oops, see what happens if I select by object, the object moves. Place the cloud behind the mountains and make it smaller, something like this. There might be bits sticking out at the back here, but you don't have to worry too much about that. As this is an illustration and it won't be seen from all angles. If we were uploading this to a site like Sketchfab, for example, where the 3D model can be moved, then you would have to make sure everything is perfect. But as it's an illustration that will be seen from this view, then what's at the back isn't so important. Let's duplicate this cloud to get another one, and we'll adjust it to obtain a different cloud. I'd like to add more clouds and maybe change the mountains a little, but first let's make the trees. So we make a tree, or maybe 2 or 3, that we place around here, but until we get to the textures we won't touch them. First we'll make a cube and scale it. This is the trunk. Make it editable. Polygon selection. Select this icon and scale. Name this as trunk. Okay, copy the trunk and we can use this for the top of the tree. If you click on this button here, you get these interfaces that are the 4 views. So sometimes it's easier to model from a different view, like this. Let's make this bigger, just like that. So now we have a tree, and we lower it down to the ground. We can name this part as tree top. We can group these objects by right-clicking and group objects, and this is the tree. Now we'll make a few more trees so there's a bit of variety. We could raise these. We could raise this like that. And now we have 3 different trees. And for the moment, we are going to leave them there as they are. Now we'll add a bit of decoration here to the bottom part of the island. We'll also add another cloud. To do this, we'll go here to create a spline, in this case a helix spline that we'll rotate. And if we hold down the caps key, we see that it changes every 10th, and we'll leave it here on 90. We'll adjust these settings here. So when you've adjusted the settings and got something you like the look of, go back to Spline and select the circle. We'll give it a radius of 3. Now, go to this icon here and select this NURB here, and we get this tube. So the circle is the diameter of this tube we created on the spline. If we set this to 2, then the tube becomes thinner, but we leave it at 3. Make the NURB editable, and this makes it an object. These caps appear that we can remove. These caps appear that we can remove. So this is just an abstract object that adds something to the image. We proceed as before. Reduce polygons. We reduce them quite a lot. I think 99 is fine. You can also duplicate the NURB before you make it into an editable object. Because I can't edit this one now. I can move or scale it, but nothing more. So remember to make a copy before you make any modifications or turn it into an editable object. What we'll do now is make another island and put underneath this one. What we'll do now is make another island and put it underneath this one. So duplicate this island, make it smaller and place it somewhere down here. And now all this is done. You can modify the details however you like. You change the mountains or the lake, make the trees different. You could take the tree top and polygon selection. Uncheck the only visible. We'll go to this tab here. And here we could just make a card like this. While you do it, keep the caps key pressed. And then we can select the points and give it a different shape. In the next lesson, we are going to start to add the materials. I'll see you there.